Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to document the build that I'm fixing to do on my 2023 Kawasaki Teryx SLE. My machine is pretty much stock right now. The only thing I've got on it now is the Super ATV flip-up windshield. I've got the Mudbusters fender flares. I've got the Badlands Apex 5,500 pound winch with the synthetic rope on the front. Now I did also order the Super ATV winch mount so that I could mount the winch up here instead of down lower at the factory location. I also have a Kimimoto sound bar that my boys got me for Father's Day last year. But other than that, the rig is pretty much stock. I also have the Tusk back windshield. One note on this, I've had people ask me about it. This is for a 4-seater. I don't know that they make one for a 2-seater, but this one has worked well to keep the dust from coming in the back here. Inside's pretty much all stock. I've got some grip handles and the rear view mirror. My plans are for this, and I couldn't find exact comparisons, and so I'm documenting this so I can just share it with others so they can see how their unit can turn out. So what I'm fixing to do is I am fixing to replace the upper and lower control arms on the front with Super ATV arched arms and the rear arms on the rear. The factory arms will stay here. On the S models, I guess you could say the drive line is already shifted back 1.5 inches, and so I'm just replacing the lowers for more ground clearance on the rear end. I will also be upgrading the bushings on this also. I'm going to be removing the front sway bar. I'm going to take that thing out of there. And then probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is these Fox shocks are coming out, and Hester Edition Elka Stage 1 shocks are going in. I went with Stage 1s just because I'm not worried about tweaking the valving and all of that stuff. I just want to put it on there and ride. After all that stuff's on, I'm going to be installing 2-inch wheel spacers on the rear, and I believe they're 1.25 inch wheel spacers on the front. I got those from Super ATV, and then I am installing 30 by 10 by 14 Tusk Terabytes on some Tusk wheels. So I just want to kind of give everybody a before and after synopsis of what I'm doing here so they can see before and after. You can kind of see the width. I've also got some pictures taken. I will try to incorporate those into the video. I'm not a video editing expert, so we'll see how that goes. So anyway, here's a before and after. Hang tight. At the end of the video, I'll do a walk around of the finished product. I may throw in some video clips also as I'm going along and replacing all this. Any tips and tricks that I see. Yep, those Fox shocks are coming out. We're going with the Hester Edition Elkas. I'm really looking forward to that. I see a lot of people comment on how much better these things ride. So anyway, we'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, here we are all finished up with everything installed. It's not the same day, it's not the next day, it's a week or two later. Just been busy. I'll go through everything real quick, just kind of let you know what all I replaced and installed and took out and all that business. But I want to do this video for those that are new to the side-by-sides and they have a Teryx S and they're kind of curious what's the end result before and after going to look like with these particular items on. Now obviously you can do different stuff, but I'll go through this real quick and then give you some measurements that I've got. I still do have to do an alignment on this thing. We leave out tomorrow to go to Mina, so I'll get to try this thing out on the trails. So I'm going to knock an alignment out a little bit later today. So first we've got the Tusk Uinta B-lock wheels. These are the gunmetal, so they got a little gray to them. I don't know exactly how to say that, Uinta or something. These are the 30 by 10 by 14 Tusk Terabytes. Back here on the back, They've got the Super ATV arched arms, and of course the Hester Edition Elka Shocks. These are the stage ones. I just wanted to put them on and go. I'm not worried about tweaking and doing all that business. I did have all the arms powder coated to match the uppers. This is a S model, so the hub is already 1.5 inches back from the differential on the S model. So I had the front arms and the lower rears powder coated to match these rear uppers. Also on the back, I've got 2-inch wheel spacers from Super ATV. So I put 2 inches on the back, and then up on the front, I've got the 1.25 inches. Up here on the front, we've got the Super ATV arched arms, upper and lower. The reason you replace both of these on the S model, because from the factory, your hub out here is in line with the differential. So these arms kick it forward 1.5 inches. So a little bit gain in wheelbase. And of course, see those good looking Hester Edition Elkas on here. I did remove the sway bar, and if you've got your winch up here, you're gonna have to pull all this off to get your sway bar out. And then of course you can see up in here, there's the 1.25 inch wheel spacers. I'm gonna kind of wait and see if I'm gonna leave the front ones on or not. The front is about 67.75 inches wide, and the rear is about 67.25. So I'm a 1/2 inch wider up front. We'll just kind of wait and see as far as the clearance, you know, things sticking out past the fender flares and things like that. You can tell the difference in the arms here. I mean, you can see the thickness of the Super ATV arms versus factories. I mean, they're so much bigger, so much more heavy metal. Of course, they've got grease zerk fittings. Yeah, I broke this one off when I was greasing it the first time, so I've already had to replace a grease zerk fitting, so it's always something. On the front, I'll go over ground clearances real quick. On the front, before the installation of these components, I was at 12.25 inches directly underneath the differential, and now I'm at 14.75. Nope, I'm sorry. On the front, I was at 10.75 inches, and then I'm now at 14.5. So I gained about 3.75 inches of ground clearance on the front. The rear initially was 12.25, and now I'm at 14.75. So I gained about 2.5 inches directly underneath the rear differential on the rear. And then also I measured from this point right here to the ground, and I went from 13.5 inches to 17 inches, so about 3.5 inches right there. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it as far as dimensions. What the change was, again, this does not have any kind of bracket lift. This is strictly with the wheels, the tires, the arms, and the shocks, and the wheel spacers, but they don't make any difference on the height of it. So if you've got any questions, let me know. And you kind of see how things are lined up. Yeah, you can see that my camera being off really here on the camera, so I'm fixing to get out and take care of that. That's what's nice about these arms from Super ATV. It can be adjusted by loosening this nut, and then you have to pull this bolt out, twist this as much as you need up at the front and back here on the back one. So anyway, if you've got any questions or anything, let me know. I think I got everything in this video. If not, I'll try to add it on here at the end. So anyway, y'all have a good day. So real quick, something else I'd forgotten about I wanted to add to. On the rear shocks, you do have to go in, and this is on the S model and only on the rear. You have to trim where this bolt goes through here. You have to trim right down here along the bottom of it. So you can see the angle of the shock top here. So you have to just get a cut-off wheel or something and make this little cut right here. I could have gotten it a little more on this one, you can see, but it clears okay. and then of course over here on the front side. So there's 2 spots there you've got to do, and then same thing over here. It's pretty close, but it does not rub.